Welcome to Real Talk with Uncle D. I'm your host, Uncle G. Let's do this.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Welcome to Real Talk with Uncle D. I'm your host, Uncle D. How's it going today? It's a beautiful day today here in Kansas. I'm with my partner here, PMD, Paul Michael Davis. Everybody say he looked like Matthew McConaughey. I honestly think he kind of looked like Betty Davis, but who am I, man? You can check him out on MCTV Live. If this is your first time tuning in, I'll give you a little rundown of who I am and why I started this podcast. Man, I was a crazy cat, man. I lived my life like every guy wants to if you're not famous. When we're famous, we want cars, women, motorcycles, money, power. That's what we want, right? But we don't want to end that. But sometimes we chase it, but we're really just people, right? So basically what I did, I lived a fast life, man. I like women, I like cars, I like motorcycles, I like money. And I did all that stuff, man. And it's addiction. It's an addiction like crack, alcohol. Shoot. Once you stop drinking alcohol and you go to a bar, man, you ain't going to be like, well, I don't drink anymore. No, it's a temptation. So if I go to a club now and there's a bunch of honeys, that's temptation, man. I'm going to be a crackhead. Oh, shoot. So I try to stay away from that because I'm not good at that and I make bad decisions. So you've got to learn if you want to grow and go to another place and basically quit being a victim of society. You've got to find out who you are. After that, man, I've been married 3 times. I have 1 child, awesome kid. I wish I had never adopted her sometimes, but it is what it is. So, but she's not adopted, but I tell her that. So anyway, I wasn't in her life for like 8 years. I would say I chased the pee, but I'm just going to keep it clean. If I stopped having sex, I ain't messing with you. I'm out because I thought love was having sex, getting booty, all that stuff. I never was trained anymore. So, man, I stopped getting booty. I didn't know maybe this lady had a personal problem, and I felt maybe she wasn't attracted to me. But if I was smarter like I was now and had more options, I'd have been like, why aren't you as interested in sex as I am or whatever? We had that conversation back then. I was like, she ain't giving me some booty. I got all kinds of options out here. You know what I'm saying? So I was basically 8 years out of my kid's life making bad decisions because I was chasing everything in the world and putting my kid last, It just is what it is, And I was a male entertainer. I wasn't a drug dealer, I had money, but I had money on a different angle. I wasn't out selling drugs. I wasn't out doing that, but I was making money, because I was a bodybuilder and I had a good body and I always had rhythm. I knew how to dance. I could pop and lock. I was Magic Mike in the making, son. Nobody even knew I was coming at him, right? So once my friend basically came to the show and he owned the entertainment business, and I was at a bodybuilding show and I won this bodybuilding show, and he's like, hey man, why don't you come check out this, I own an entertainment business, why don't you check it out? And I'm like, man, ain't no honey's gonna be giving me money. I'm not that pretty, whatever. And he's like, no, just come on down, So I didn't go down for a while because I was hurting on money, and I'm like, well, shoot, I got a decent body, and maybe I'll make a couple extra $100, help me out with some bills. So I went down there, man, killed it. I'll make me like $1,000 in like 35 minutes, dog. I'm like, what? What? Sign me up, right? I'm getting paid for something I'm good at. So, man, I was all in, right? So I was killing it. And I had to, nobody wanted to go first, when I was an entertainer. And I always volunteer to go first, because what happens is if you go last, there's little side stages there. So if you go first, you don't get a dance to the end of the night. So you better be pretty, and you better be the best MF there, because you're only going to get paid for that set. And we had a guy who could do all that. His name was Bo. He was a bad man. So I went first, and then I said you couldn't dance on the guy's first song, so you could dance on the side stage. So I always made my money there, I stuffed my, I danced, I'm not profiling, but most dudes are hung a little bit better than white dudes. There's some white dudes hung too, right? I'm not saying I'm hurting, but you got competition. It was a higher percentage of black men than white men. So, I put my money in my stuff. So I look like, sure, we on equal playing grounds because I could dance. And now I'm packing, so a little false advertisement, but shit, it worked for me, you know what I'm saying? So, because women don't expect white men to have rhythm. So, I got rhythm, and now my stuff looks packed. I was going to sew a potato in it, but, to look bigger, but I didn't want to knock nobody's tooth out when I was dancing, if you know what I'm talking about. Like, bam! Well, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, a lot of women would approach me and say, are you half black? And I say, yeah, from the waist down. So, it worked for me. So dancing was fun, and I made a lot of money. And like I say, it spoils you because when you go out on the club, say you dance all night, right? You go to the club, they've given you all their money. And then when you show up, it's like, oh, the fireman's here. So you're picking and choosing what you want. It's like the bartender giving you free drinks. It's not fair. It's very addicting. It's very addicting stuff. So, it comes that fast life, and next thing you know, you're making a lot of bad decisions, but it's fun at the time. And back in the day, when I was an older dancer, and these guys were younger, so they danced, if they did the Firemen routine, it would be like, they call me the Fireman, that's my name, a country song, and I'm more like hip-hop, old school, Marvin Gaye, like let's get it on type of stuff. So I was a fireman, so I'm like, fire, bump, 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 hey, so I was killing it, dude. So it was a whole different, I brought a whole different vibe to the male stripper thing, when I was older, so I had women with money. Man, I could go on and just, you'd think I'm lying. It was so crazy, you know what I'm saying? So the just list goes on and on what stuff is. So I've just learned from these experiences, and it's hard to walk away from stuff like that, but I noticed as I had a daughter and I got full custody of her, I had to be more responsible as a parent, and I looked at women totally different now. Because I wouldn't want somebody to treat my daughter like that or this or that or whatever, Because we as male strippers get looked at like we're scumbags when basically we're your wife's fantasy most of the time. She's coming there to see something she don't see at home every day. So you can call me a scumbag. I call me like top of the food chain, son. You know what I'm saying? That's how you look at it because, yeah, you feel kind of empty at the end of the day because nobody really wants you because they feel like, man, they got to work out and take care of themselves to keep you around, So their insecurities kind of like, oh, I can do this for one night, I can put this in my bucket list kind of thing. So, man, sky's the limit. So I was addicted, son, addicted real bad. So, but the deal is, the reason I'm spitting this to you guys is because hopefully you can learn from my mistakes because you can get instructions for and I said on one of my episodes earlier, you can get instructions for a bed set at Kia, right? But there's no instructions for real topics like drugs, alcohol, being addicted to whatever, food, whatever. There's no instructions for that. So by me being out here, be able to speak my voice, I'm not saying this will work for you, but it's worked for me. I haven't been serious with a woman for 15 years, and I don't even date because I'm not good at that. And if I get with somebody just to get with somebody, I'm going backwards in life, and I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, and I don't want to lose who I am to basically become part of them to feel like I fit in. So I haven't found that yet, so therefore, man, this podcast right here makes me happy because if I could touch one of you people, one of you great people out there and give you some extra tools to be like, man, I never looked at it in that angle. Man, we're all winning. I was a personal trainer for years, 1 out of 100 people, maybe, if I'm lucky, lost their weight, maintained their goals. And they're still like that today, man. I touched somebody's life, man. I changed somebody's life in a positive way, but they had to do the work. They had to believe in me. So they believed in me. And I've had experience that I believed in certain people. So if you don't have different experiences, we get caught in society's web, until we meet different types of people. And I'm from the hood and he's from over here and he's used to having everything. And I came from struggle. I've worked my way up. I was dealt a bad hand, right? So say I'm this rich guy that lives up here and I refuse to only talk to rich guys, I'm not going to change. But if I decide to become friends with this guy from the hood that's basically been through hell, he now knows what it feels like to struggle. And this guy came from nothing and now he's on my level. So we need to not judge people or look at people so we can get to that, oh, okay, this guy had nothing and I had everything. Well, when I had everything, I've never learned to struggle. So when I struggled, I wanted to give up when my dad cut my money off or my dad did this. But now your parents are trying to do you a justice since they did you an injustice, right? But if you have that experience with that person because you didn't judge them because of what they were wearing or who they were or, profiling them, man, they just saved your life because you had to dig. You had to struggle. Now you're like, who does Dempsey want to become? Who does PMD want to come? You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to all that, I just think what I've been through is so valuable because I've learned through all my experiences. And I had a fun time. I'm regretting nothing, man. Shoot, I'm regretting nothing. Sometimes, I ain't going to go back to old stuff because, man, don't even start with me, man. But I'm 57 years old. It took me 52 years to figure this stuff out, man. And I got so many stories that can walk you up to how I learned from people and from experiences. So it is what it is, man. And what I want to express to you guys is I want to thank you people for tuning in and passing this on to others if it's something you benefit from my experiences. Because my podcasts are only 5 minutes long, and I want to hold your interest long enough to see if you're even interested enough to follow me. And then once we get certain people on board, we can expand our podcasts. So I'm hoping, I'm not doing this to be rich. I'm doing this to basically, man, just give people another options and instructions, man. And, I'm done preaching. I'm your Uncle D. And that's all I had to say about that. I'm repping the Midwest for sure. Thanks for tuning in. Your favorite uncle, Uncle D, for advice, swag, motivation, and life lessons. Sounding off, repping the Midwest for sure. Yes, sir. If you're watching YouTube, don't forget, like, share, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification button on the side. Bing, bing. Hey, Uncle D, sounding off for sure. Over now.